Hello and welcome to the Dutch Inn channel. It's Wednesday, the 24th of April 2024, and it's approaching 5:25 in the morning, so you can see me in action trying to do a few selections for the 25th. And we're going to start at Beverley. Now, the first race, as you can see there, has got 9 runners, but 8 haven't run before. This isn't going to be a betting race at all, so I'll just put a line through that one. And what I've done so far, I've already added the 245, so you can see the points and everything and how it's done. So I've just completed that race. All right, 11 go at the post here. We use the racing post rating over the last 3 flat runs. Because it's on the flat, every horse's form is done with a racing post rating if it's been under rules. But if it's a hurdle race, it has a rating for the hurdles, it has a different rating for the chases, and it has a different rating for the flats on the grass, and it has a different flat rating on the all-weather. But in this instance, we're going to combine the two on the flat together because it's not going to make any difference at all. Also, in the second column here, we're going to be using how far the horse has been beaten in that race that we're going to cover. And also, we're going to use the weight of the horse that we're going to work out against the winner. Everything is against the winner. So in this case, if you was to see, let's just go down to Dare to Hope. If you go down to its third race, you will see that the RPR, the racing post rating, was 90, but the reason for the 0 and the 0 is because it won. And if it won, it can't be beaten any lengths. And if it's the winner, you can't adjust the weight from the winner to the winner because it's the same. So that becomes a 0 as well. And when you've got these 3 totals in that column there, the JHR, you put the highest one of those 3. Right, and that automatically goes into that column. Then in the next 2 columns is going to be your weight you're going to be carrying for today's race. And the adjusted will come down to 9 stone 2, which is the average weight carried on the flat. So if you're carrying 9 stone 6, you're 4 above what you should be. So we need to bring that down to 9 stone 2, therefore we will take off 4 pounds. In this next column that's empty, this is up to you whether you use it, but if you've got a claimer on board, you can add those points to that total. Now, I always say there's a reason why a claimer has got £3 or £5 or £7, and that's because they're learning. So if you had a top jockey in a finish, you would want that top jockey rather than the £7 claimer, I presume. It doesn't always work like that. So that is the 245. But what we're going to do is move on to the next race, which is the 320. Now, these horses haven't run 3 times, what I like, but they have all run and all will have a rating. So the first thing we're going to do is put all the horses' names in. So we've got Dan Buster, Spirit of Acclam or Acclam. And we got Infatuator. Open Secret. Stay in the Game. Tri-Fan. And Misty Time. So those are your 7 horses running in this race. Now this system at the moment is throwing out winner after winner. Could be the time of year, could be anything. But this system I came up with many years ago, and I think the reason why I don't use it sometimes is because of the amount of time it takes to do it. Right, so what we're going to do next, we're going to go into the weights. So the age for weights means nothing, it's just the weight carried that we need. So the first 2 here are on 9 stone 11. And then 1, 2, 3, the next 4 are 9 stone 4. You can copy and paste these, but as it's not a huge race, I'll just put the weights in. And Misty Time is 8 stone 13. Now remember, these have all got to be adjusted to 9 stone 2. So you, off of 9 stone 11, you will take £9 to bring that to 9.2. And 9 stone 4, you need to bring that down by £2. And 8.13 needs to rise by £3. Alright, because there's £14 in a stone. So to bring that up to 9 stone, you would add £1 and then plus £2 to bring it to 9 stone 2, which would give you that plus 3 on the last horse. So back to our top selection, which is Dam Buster. We click on this. And remember here we've only got 2 lines of form. And because you see a horse that's finished last, don't sort of think, is it worth doing? Because yeah, they are worth doing. The RPR here was 108. So that goes in your first column of the last race. And Dan Buster was beaten 31 lengths. And you don't need to look and see whether it was, well, it says soon eased anyway, but you don't need to worry yourself and complicate things. They all raced off of 9 stone 4, but you just need your weight and the winner's weight. So if they both race off 9 stone 4, there is no adjusting to do on the pounds. And that's the form for the first one. Now, in the second column, as I said to you, if you won, you don't need to adjust anything. So if you win, you come down to here, and you have 89.00. That's only if you came first in a race. You don't need this third column to fill in because it's only ran twice. So we can delete that, and then this column here under JHR, you put the highest of these 2. There's no more adjustings, you just need the highest of that, which is 89. And this will take 9 off for your adjusted to bring it down to 9 stone 2, and that means your rating is 80. And you can see this isn't something that you can just open the paper up and take a few minutes to do it, but if it's going to make you money overall, then I believe it's worth taking time over. Right, so when we go down to the next selection here, you can see that it won last time out, first of 9. So 75 is the rating, 0.00. Don't need to adjust anything. And then the second race down, we know that that horse finished 7th. So we'll see the RPR, which is 88. And we will go down to where it finished 7th, Spirit of Acclam, and you'll see in this that there's all different numbers down here, but the one that's in the brackets is what we want because it's the accumulative of what it's been beaten by the winner. So that's been beaten 4.5 lengths. So we'll take minus 4.5 off. It will always be a minus because you're being beaten. And here you can see that the weight was 9 stone 7 and the winner was 9 stone 7. So both carried the same, so that will become a 0. We don't have any more form because it's only run twice. And you'll see that 83.50 is the highest that Spirit of Acclam has done. And again, this will take off £9 to bring that down to a 9 stone 2 weight. And now the total, and these are the totals that we want at the end, that will be racing up as 74.5 rating. Infatuator will be our third selection we look at. Now, because it hasn't won doesn't mean it's not better than the other horses. I never look at any of this. Right, so last time the rating was 88 RPR, and Infatuator got beaten by 7 lengths. So of course that's minus 7, and the weight was 9 stone 7, and the winner was 9 stone 7. So again, that becomes 0. This gets more complicated as you get into handicaps. Then here, its first time out, finished 2nd, and the RPR was 83, and that means it got beat this time by 4.25 lengths, so minus 4.25. You have to put this into decimals, so it'll be a good idea if you sort of work these out and do yourself a little table or something. And here, Infatuator ran off 8 stone 12, but so did the winner, so that's another easy one to work out, 0. And as we come across here, you'll see that the highest out of those two would be 81. And this time, it's only £2 to take off, but it's only raced off 9 stone 4 this time. So you can see that's into 79. That's 1 point behind Dam Buster. And Spirit of Acclam at the moment is last. Then we're going to look at Open Secret. And once again, this horse is only run twice. And the RPR is 84. It's been beaten by 1 length. And both again have raced off the same weight. That's the horse we're doing and the winner. So the pounds become 0. And then going back to its first race. Remember, you're only doing the last 3 runs over the flat. So if there was a hurdles race or a chase race mixed in with it, and you will see this from time to time, you just put a line through that and carry on down again. 88 will be the Racing Post rating for the second race. It's been beaten by 2 3/4 lengths, so minus 2.75. once again, the weights are exactly the same. Our horse this time, 9 stone 7, against the winner of 9 stone 7. And we carry on down to these two formulas, and we've got 85.25. And once again, it'll adjust the weight down to 9 stone 2. And that leaves 83.25. So that is our top selection at the moment. That is Open Secret. And just going into the betting, you can see that Open Secret is second favourite. And you think, well, I've got horses that have won there. This system just doesn't necessarily bring up the horses that have won last time out, even though they've got Dan Buster here as the favourite. Right, Stay in the Game. And once again, only ran twice. So we click the latest race. The RPR this time is 78. Stay in the Game came third, got me 2 1/4 lengths. And the weights, both again 9 stone 2. So no change in the pounds. And we'll do the second race down. And once again, Stay in the Game finished third. The Racing Post rating was 86. And this time it was beaten further by 6 1/4 lengths. Always remember it's a minus. And the pounds here is a little bit different. The first one so far, Stay in the Game, was on 9 stone 7. The winner was on 9 stone 4. It means we carried £3 more, so that 3 becomes a plus because it's higher. Right, and it all makes sense. And this time, the highest we've got is 82.75 from those 2 runs. So even though it got beat 6 1/4 lengths, it was actually in a better rated race. So therefore the points are higher. And that becomes 80.75. So effectively that's in second place at the moment, behind Open Secret and then Dan Buster in third. And we just got the 2 more to work out. This one's only one run, I should have said once. So we'll work out the form for this. The Racing Post rating was 82. The reason I don't mind doing horses that have only run once or twice is because to get their form, it doesn't change much from 1 to 3 as you saw in these. Sometimes it can, but at least this will give me some kind of average that I know it should run up to. And this time this has got beat by 3 lengths, so that will become a -3. And the weight, same again, 9 stone 4 from our horse to the winner, so that's a 0. And you can see there that's 79 rated. And that will adjust it at the end for you. And then we've got Misty Time. Now don't forget this horse is on 8 stone 13. They have got it as the outsider here at 50 to 1. But never worry about what it says, 5th or 7th, or thinking, oh, I won't bother doing that horse's form. Because you never know. This time the Racing Post rating was 85. And Misty Time was beaten 11.5 lengths. Carried 9 stone, and the winner carried 9 stone 7. So this time we carried less than the winner of £7. So this becomes a minus £7. When we carry more weight, it becomes a plus. When we carry less weight, it becomes a minus. So that's done. And now the last race we're going to look at. The race in post rating was 79. It got beat by 7.5 lengths. And this time carried 9 stone 2 along with the winner on the same weight, so that will be a 0. And the highest one of those two would be 71.50. And that would add the £3 to bring that to 9 stone 2. So that's going to be that race finished. So we're now going to put these in descending order in that final column. And that's how we would be betting from the start, working our way down. So Open Secret, Stay in the Game, and Dam Buster. So if we just delete those, and we have a look here, we can see that Open Secret is second favourite. Stay in the Game a little way along there, fourth in the betting, and Dam Buster is the favourite. So that will give you an idea on how we sort this out. And Tri-Fan, because it's only run once, is okay in fifth. And we knew by the 50 to 1 that Misty Time was going to be the outsider, but it's not trailing by a massive amount of points as you would think. And this is where I can see into a race better, I think, than the average person or even pundit, come to think of that. Because these are done the same as the chases and the hurdles, and those two are pretty much on par with what I do. So why is the flat not the same? Got to be a reason for it somewhere. So anyway, that is the second race at Beverley, which is going to be run tomorrow on the 25th if you're watching this on the 24th. So they are in advance. So you will be able to look at that race. And we'll move on to the 355. So I will work out this next race for you. And again, small field. And that's why I'm doing them really, because if it was sitting there with a 20-horse handicap, it would take too long. So the first thing you do again is you put the names in, and we've got Global Skies, Cerulean Bay, Barachi, that one last week, Power of Zeus, See the Dream, Classy Boy, and Cat and Lady. So that's your 7 runners. Down this end again, you need to go to the weight column, and starting from the top, working your way down. The first two are 9 stone 9. Then we've got a 9.8 and a 9.6, a 9.1 an 8'11", and an 8 stone 9. So there are your 7 weights. And as I say, the first thing you need to do is bring these down to 9 stone 2. So we've got £7 to come off the first 2. Then we've got £6 to come off the next one. £4 to come off, because don't forget you're bringing this down to 9 stone 2. Then here you're bringing these ones up to 9 stone 2. So £1 on that one, £5 on that one, and £7 on that. So basically now every horse will be carrying 9 stone 2 in theory. And we're going to start again with the form that we were doing. And this will be for Global Skies. And you've got 3 lines of form there for Global Skies. It's all on the flat. So we'll start with last time out. And the Racing Post rating there of the winner was 102. And the Global Skies down the bottom here got beat by 17 1/4 lengths. So you take off minus 17.25. And here we see Global Skies was on 9 stone 3 along with the winner. So there's no change in the pounds. Then in the race before, the middle race here, it finished second. 85 was the Racing Post rating. Got beaten the neck. Now again, these are hard to do in fractions, so if you haven't done them before, but it'll be a minus 0.375 for a neck. Basically, they're divisible into 8 pieces. So if you're beaten 1/8, it will be a short head. If you're beaten 2/8, it will be a head. If you're beaten 3/8, it will be a neck. And if you're beaten 4 lengths, it will be half a length. So even though the 2/8 is a head, it's also a quarter of a length, which they don't put down or show you. It's always a head. So that's pretty much how it's done. And I put a nose on half a short head. So I put 0.0625 because 1/8 is 0.125. It's a little bit messy really, but that's how it's done in fractions. Now we're going to go into the third race of Global Skies, and as I say, once they've won, you don't need to worry about anything. You just come down to the end and you transfer over the 86. In the wrong column there, I hadn't finished doing the last horse. That's the problem with talking. Alright, let's go back into that last horse form. And Global Skies, what we had missed out here was the weight. Now Global Skies was on 9 stone 4, the winner was on 9 stone 8. So therefore that becomes a -4 because our weight is lower. Right, sorry about that one. And then we go into that third race again, and this time it had won off 86. So you don't need to do any beating, any pounds, that's it. And adding the 3 up, well not adding them up, getting the best total out of those 3 is 86. So you put that into the JHR column, it will take the £7 off, and it means today's rating will be 79. So we'll go back, and what I'll show you here, if you look in this race, this is a handicap class 3, and it is a 0 to 90. So for this to be 79, it's quite a way off. But it is a 3-year-old handicap, so we'll see how we get on as we're doing the points. And we've got the last 3 runnings there, which were all on the flat. And we'll start off with its last race. The Racing Post rating was 96. It got beat by 10.25 lengths, 10 1/4 lengths. The weight was 9 stone 3, and so was the winner. So no difference there, and that's 0. Then making it easy for us here, the last 2 were both winners. The last time it ran and won, it got an 87 rating. And the time before that, it got a 75 rating. And the best one we've got here is 87. And that again will take off the pounds and bring it down to 9 stone 2. That will adjust it for you. And the total ratings there for that horse will be 80. Beverley. Last 3 runnings, all on the flat. 1 last time out. This was off of 90. So again, just a 0 and a 0. And then the time before that, finished 3rd. The Racing Post rating was 104. And it got beat by 9 lengths in total by the winner. So a -9. And the pounds this time raced off 9.3 and the winner off 9.9, so we were £6 under, so that becomes -6. And then the 3rd race down, Beverley raced off of a Racing Post rating there to the winner, which was 95. It also got beat by 15 1/4 lengths. And this time, Beverley carried 9.3, the winner carried 9.5, so it was £2 under. And we'll see that we've got 90 as our top figure. And this now becomes rated 84. So out of those 3 that we've worked out, Beverley for us would be our top rated horse. And our next selection that we're going to pick out will be Power of Zeus. Maybe not selection, but our next horse that we're picking out. And the Racing Post rating here was 111. Power of Zeus got beat by 12 1/4 lengths. So this will come off the total. And it raced off 8 stone 11, whereas the winner was 9 stone 11. So that will have a -14 on pounds. And then we move into the 2nd race. And the Racing Post rating here was 82. Power of Zeus finished 5th, beaten this time 4 1/2 lengths. And the pounds, we carried 9 stone 8 as opposed to the winner's 9 stone 4, so we were £4 higher, so that becomes a plus. And the last race there was 1st, so you just put the 82 in, and that's it. And those averages are all pretty much close, but 84.75 would be the best for Power of Zeus. And that gives him a rating of 80.75. So that moves into 2nd. But we've still got the 3 to work out yet. And our next one will be See the Dream. which is favourite in the paper, and 11-4 at heels. And this is one last time out. So again, you just need the 82, and that's it. Then before that, in the middle race here, it finished third. The racing post rating was 78 and was beaten by 2 1/4 lengths, so minus 2.25. Raced off of 9 stone 7, and the winner that day was off of 9 stone 4. So we were £3 higher, so that becomes a +3. And then the third race back, raced off a rating there of 76, the racing post rating. It got beat by 4 1/4 lengths, and See the Dream carried 9 stone 8 that day, and the winner was off of 9 stone. So See the Dream had a +8 because of being £8 higher. And you'll see out of these three that the highest rating they've got is 82, which was for the win last time. But instead of having minus come off this time, they've got a plus going on to make their weight 9 stone 2. So this goes up to 83, which now puts See the Dream into second place behind Beverley. And then we've got Classy Boy. This is number 6. And the last 3 races all on the flat. And the racing post rating here was 85 in the first leg we're doing, and then got beat by 7.5 lengths. And as for the weights, Classy Boy was 8 stone 12, the winner was 8 stone 9. So we've got a +3 there because our weight was higher. And in the second race, the RPR was 92, got beat half a length. And the weights here, Classy Boy was off of 8 stone 9, and the winner was off of 9 stone 9. So this time you're inferior by £14. So that means the £14 would need to come off of that total. And then the last race we'll look at here for Classy Boy, the RPR was 83. Got beat by 1.5 lengths. And the weights, Classy Boy 8.6. The winner was 8.12. So we're £6 behind that. So that becomes a -6. And you'll see with the 3 that we got to pick out the highest, the 80.5 would be the highest out of those. And this time there's a +5 in the weights to bring that back to 9 stone 2. So this goes into the lead. This will be our top selection as it stands. Classy Boy there, third in the betting at 4-1. And we're going to work out our 7th horse, which will be the last one for this race. '82 racing post rating, which you can see there. Then was beaten by 2 3/4 lengths in total. And the weight was 9 stone 7. The winner was 9 stone 10. So we're on a -3 pounds. because we had less weight. And moving into this second race, finished third here. The racing post rating was 84. And we got beat by 3 lengths. And the weights, 9 stone 7 for Cat and Lady, 9 stone 9 for the winner, meant we were £2 behind because we had less weight. So that comes a -2. And our third and last one here, racing post rating of 82, got beat by a length and a quarter, and carried 9 stone 3 and the winner 9 stone 4, so we're £1 behind there. And you can see that these are pretty close, but the highest is 79.75. This will automatically add £7 and take that into a winning position of 86.75. So when you're Dutching, you've got your top selection. Just put these in descending order. And you'll see that Cat and Lady would be your first bet. And I'm presuming that's going to be a bit of a price. Let's just have a... Oh, it was actually second favourite. And this is how different this selection is. You look at the horses in that race and you think, well, Curlian Bay has won twice. You've got Global Skies that's won. Belarch has won. Parazeus, See the Dream. Cat and Lady has won, but going back a long while. So when you look at this system, it just brings it all up there for you with the weights applied to who should win that race. Now, if you wanted to complicate it, you'll see that Brandon Wilkie there has a £5 allowance. So if you wanted to, and I tend not to do this, you could add the 5 to the claim, and then that would be your top selection. So you can do that. I just tend not to do it because if you don't keep on it enough, just before the race, when you're going to watch it, they could say, and there's a jockey change here, and then you've already put your bets on, and you think, oh my God, I'd have only backed that if the claimer was on it. Now they put, I don't know, Jamie Spencer or someone on it. So that's how that changes. That's why I don't really like putting it in, but I keep the column there. So in that race before, we've got Open Secret as the top selection. And we've got Cat and Lady in the race we've just worked out. And I'm going to work out one more race for you. So we're going to stick with Beverley. And we'll go down this time to the 4:30. And again, it's a small field. That's why I'm doing them for you. So make sure, if you want a copy of this template, just feel free to use the email at the bottom of the screen. Just send me your details and I'll send you. It doesn't cost anything. It's a free copy. So if you want that, you can just contact me and I'll send that to you. Now the first thing we'll do is put in our 6 horses. We'll start with the top, which is Arthur's Realm. Then we've got Shaladar. Westerness. Beltane. King Sharjah. And our final horse there will be Temper Trap. Come down to the end there and we'll put in the weights, which would be the first two on 9 stone 11. And we've got a 9.6 and a 9.2. An 8.12 and a 8 stone 9. So we'll do it working upwards this time. We've got a +7 to bring that to 9.2. We've got a +4 to bring that to 9.2. This was already on 9.2, so that will be a 0. Then the 9.6 will need to lose £4, and the top two will need to lose £9, and then that would make it all level weights. And that's why when you're working these out, you'll see that the highest rated horses without me doing the weights will be from top to bottom, or should be. That doesn't always work out like that. That's why we hope to find one that's thrown in. So we'll take the first race here for Arthur's Realm, finish 5th. The racing post rating here was 88. The beaten length was 6, so that becomes a minus. And the weights there, 9 stone 8 for Arthur's Realm, 9 stone 1 for the winner. So that means we carried £7 higher, so you put in +7. The second race, Arthur's Realm finished 3rd. The racing post rating was 94. That was beaten by 3/4 of a length, so minus 0.75. Carried 9 stone 10 last time, and the winner 9 stone 6. So we're £4 heavier, so that means that becomes a +4. And then the last race, finished 4th. Racing post rating there of 94. This time it got beat by 6 3/4 lengths, 6.75. And the weights was 9.13 and the winner 9.12. So that would have been plus £1 in our favour. So we go to these 3 races and we pick out the highest one, which is 97.25 in the middle race. It will automatically take that £9 off and leave us with a rating of 88.25. And because that was a handicap class 4, you'll see that that is a 0 to 80 handicap. And we are over on 88, so it's not a bad start having Arthur's Realm, and you can see already that the betting forecast makes this favourite. So we'll go into number 2, into its last race, and this is Shaladar. 99 was the racing post rating. It got beat by 4 lengths, so a -4 there. The weight was 9 stone 3, but the winner was 9 stone 7, so we were £4 behind, and that becomes a -4. Then into the second race, finished 2nd this time. Racing post rating was 92, and it was beaten by 2 1/4 lengths this time. The weight was 9 stone 9. The winner was off 9 stone 4. It means we were £5 heavier, so that becomes a +5. And then into the third race, This time the Racing Post rating was 103, so you can see that it's quite a high rated race. This time it was beaten 4 1/4 lengths, and the weights 9 stone 1 for Shaladar, but the winner was off 9 stone 10, so that becomes a -9 for us. And the figures there again are all pretty much similar, but 94.75 is the top rating. This will adjust to -9, and that goes into second on 85.75, and you know the race is rated pretty much spot on to that horse. Then we're going to look at Western S, last 3 races on the flat. Racing Post rating last time out was off 93. Got beat by 5 1/4 lengths, so that becomes a -5.25. 9 stone 2 was the weight. The winner was 9 stone 9, so we were £7 behind, so that becomes a -7 as we were lower. And in the second race, finished third. This time the Racing Post ratings was 89. We got beat by 2 1/4 lengths, so -2.25. And we raced off 9 stone 9, and so did the winner, so that makes us a 0 there. And this time, in the last race of 3, the Racing Post rating becomes 84. Was beaten 4 1/4 lengths, so -4.25. Western S carried 9 stone 11, and the winner 9 stone 4, so we were £7 heavier, so that becomes a +7. And the 3 totals again, and 2 were identical at the end there, but 86.75 would be the carry forward one. Let's get that right first of all. Then you would have £4 to come off of that adjusted, and that would put you onto 82.75. So still in last place at the moment, Western S. And we're now going to go down to Beltane. And Beltane, last 3 races, all on the flat. Finished in 6th place. The Racing Post rating was 86. Got beat by 5 1/4 lengths. Raced off of 9 stone 9, and the winner was 9 stone 6. So we were £3 heavier, so that becomes a +3. Then our second race down, finished 5th. Racing Post ratings of 86. Got beat by 4 1/2 lengths, so that becomes -4.5. Carried 9 stone 6, and the winner 9 stone 6, so that will also be a 0. Then our last race here, finished 9th. Can't actually go down that far and show you it all, but the Racing Post rating was 93. And now we'll drop down, and Beltane there got beat by 4 1/2 lengths, so -4.5. And then we'll see that Beltane carried 9 stone 5, and the winner 9 stone 6. So we were £1 lighter, That's a -1. The highest we've got here is 87.5. Don't need to adjust anything because it was already off of 9 stone 2. And this goes into second place now, Beltane on 87.5 behind Arthur's Realm. Now we're going to delete that one. It's time for King Sharjah. And that's the last 3 on the flat. Now sometimes you'll see that there isn't a rating here. Now this is one of 2 things. It can be normally the day before, the day after. No, I was right the first time. The day before it could have run and they haven't updated it, but it also can mean that it's been beaten a long way. But you still click on it because there will be some kind of rating to pull from that horse. So first of all, the Racing Post rating here would be 84 for King Sharjah. Now we're going to have a look. It finished last of 12, tailed off, mostly eased out, 51 3/4, so minus 51.75. Carried 9 stone 8, and the winner was 9 stone 6, so we were 2 pound heavier. It's not going to be the best of lines of form that you're going to read, but 34.25 is higher than no rating at all. And the time before that, the Racing Post rating was 79. This time finished 9th and got beat by 8 3/4 lengths. And this is why I do the last 3, because if you took the last one, you'd have something like that that was eased down and you wouldn't get a fair reflection. But even though a horse has finished 9th or 10th, it's only been beaten 8.75 lengths, carried 9 stone 7, and the winner was 9 stone. So we were 7 pounds heavier. So you can see now that that becomes 77.25, and then we'll have an adjusted at the end. And it might not even be the best yet, but because you see a horse that's ran in 3rd place, it doesn't mean that's going to be the best line of form. Now the Racing Post rating here was 86. And King Sharjah got beat by 3 3/4 lengths, so 3.75 minus. And the weights there, 9 stone 2, both of them, so that is that. And the highest now will be 82.25, which would be that race we've just worked out. You've got to add 4 from the adjusted, because it was on 8 stone 12. And that gives a rating of 86.25, but it's still not one of our top 2. We've still got Arthur's Realm from Beltane. And the last one we're going to work out is Temper Trap. And this will be the last race I work out as well. So let's have a look at Temper Trap. You can normally just about get 8 on the page. The Racing Post rating there is 79. This has been beaten by 4 1/4 lengths. Now, as I say, you can be beaten 4 1/4 lengths into second, but these are the hidden things that you don't normally see, where a horse has finished 8th and beaten the same distance. And 8.13 was the weight, 9 stone 9 was the winner. So unfortunately, we've got a -10 to come onto that. Now we finish second here in the next race down. The Racing Post rating was 67. Temper Trap was beaten by 2 3/4 lengths, so 2.75 minus. And the difference in the weights this time, Temper Trap was 10 stone, the winner was 9.3, so Temper Trap carried 11 pounds more, so that will become a plus 11. And then the last race we'll work out, Racing Post rating of 65, and Temper Trap got beat by 5 1/4 lengths, so minus 5.25, carried 9 stone 12. Now the winner only carried 8 stone 10, so that's a pull of 16 pounds more that Temper Trap carried that day, so that becomes a plus 16. And at the end here, even though you've seen all these pluses and the minus 10 in the first race, plus 11, plus 16, they all come out pretty much close. So 75.75 is the highest. You can see that the adjusted there would have been a plus 7, but still doesn't bring it to where we need if we're going to gamble on them. So we'll put them in descending order from column AL. And that leaves Arthur's Realm at the top from Beltane and King Sharjah. So I'll just go over those 3 races again. If you wanted to bet on them tomorrow for the 25th, you can do that. And it isn't always the first selection that will be your best selection. If you're Dutching, you know that you can back as many in that race as the betting allows you. But I'll go through those tomorrow on the day, in the morning. So we've got, if you just wanted a little treble for the win treble here, your top selection would be Open Secret in the 320 at Beverley. Then the 355 at Beverley, we've gone for Caton Lady. And in the 430 at Beverley, we've gone for Arthur's Realm. So we'll just go back to those 3 races. If I can move it at all, does annoy me sometimes. Right, so the 320, we've gone for Open Secret. That's 5-2 on the Racing Post. Then in the 355, we've gone for Caton Lady, which is second favourite there at 7-2. And in the 430, Arthur's Realm at 9-4. So this is how you work out. Pretty much it's very close to Timeform, but Timeform don't give enough points or credit to horses that have been beaten maybe 5 lengths plus. They, if they've been beaten maybe 5-6 lengths, their points totals go down quite quickly. Whereas I make it all exactly the same everywhere, and most probably get a higher percentage of winners. You'll see that if you go back onto the results show last night, where I did the same system. And I have plenty of form that I go back on to look to make sure that this does work. It's not like just a one-off thing. And it takes a lot of planning, a lot of working out as well. And of course, what you have to do when you see a 150 to 1 winner, that's when you have to try and look to see why it won. Maybe there's a system there that you could have backed it. And it's okay finding your 1 to 6 shots, but you try finding a system that's going to pull in 150 to 1 and then base it around all the other prices and all the other horses from all different races. And then you go, bingo, I think I might have found something. But it's not going to work on every 150 to 1 shot, I can assure you. And if you're giving the 1 to 6 shot at the top, then just give yourself a little pat on the back, because it's not something that anybody that would need to see a 1 to 6 shot. And the other thing, if you're looking for a nap, which I did yesterday, which fell flat on my face because I made it 20 points clear and came last. So I'll try not to stick to just one horse. That's why I prefer the Dutching system. But I normally do the difference between the first and second in that orange column there. So that would tell me that Open Secret would be 2.5 points on top. Right, now if I go to that second race, this time I would see that Cat and Lady is 1.25 and Arthur's Realm, well, that's only a 0.75. So out of those three, I would more fancy Open Secret, but only to be 2.5 points clear wouldn't really interest me. But when you get one there like I did yesterday of 20, I think I could have rode that and won it, and my weight wouldn't have been down to 9 stone. But it was so disappointing. But that's what happens. Again, this isn't based over one selection in one day. This is over a 3-month period or even a year period, because I do it as my job. This isn't something I just go out and do just like a one-off. You can always contact me. I'm always here. So that these races, as you can see, will be the order I bet them tomorrow. Of course, there could be non-runners. We don't know yet. We're 24 hours away from that. But yeah, if you want one of them templates, I can send that. Just send your email through. It's at the bottom of the screen if you want my one. And yeah, thanks for watching.